welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amogbe.
I am Tyson Salam. It's great to have you join us again.
All right, this morning we're starting with La Liga because it's returning today, and it's the game between Real Betis and, of course, Sevilla that will kick off the action. So the much anticipated wait for La Liga to return is finally here.
Wow, what a way to come back as well. The Sevilla derby. It's going to be very, very explosive indeed. Sevilla will be looking to get all 3 points at the Ramon Sanchez Stadium later tonight. Also on the show, still talking football, Bayern Munich are through to the final of the German Cup after defeating Frankfurt by 2-1.
Yeah, they're making records and breaking records every day. That's what they know how to do, unstoppable. So the treble is still very much on course for Bayern Munich. Also on the program this morning, we'll be talking boxing and the AJ Fury agreement terms. Well, it's been finalized according to Eddie Hearn. That's what he's saying. Look, they have all the deal, everything sealed. So for Tyson Fury, immediately after he finished beating, according to him, not my words, after beating Deontay Wilder, of course, Joshua will be the next one for him.
All right, he says it's good. Okay, let me just shut up and we'll listen to Tyson Fury later on the show. But what we have in terms of updates for AJ versus Tyson Fury is the fact that financial terms have now been agreed for a 2-fight deal for 2021 next year. That's when we're going to get to see. We're likely to see these two guys slug it out in the ring, and it's quite surprising for a lot of people because we thought it was going to be a very complicated process. The negotiations was going to be very difficult because these two guys are, pretty much alpha males, the top dogs when it comes to boxing in the world. But surprise, surprise, they have been able to thrash out a deal. But let's make it very clear, nothing has been signed yet.
At all.
And until the ink dries on the paper, I'm not going to get too carried away, Cecilia, but I know you are celebrating already.
Yeah, I mean, we're all waiting for that historic bout. I mean,
historic is the word.
Historic. That's where it is. Early last month. That's when we started hearing. I mean, that this is going to happen and it's going to happen and all that. But at the end of the day, we're just happy that look, this is going to be a 2021, but then, as you mentioned, we don't have a concrete deal yet. This is just confirmation coming from Eddie Hearn, and of course, Tyson Fury went ahead to, post a video on his Twitter page saying that after getting off the phone call with one of his advisor, and then he's happy that he's ready for this. Let's just take a listen to him.
All right, let's listen to Tyson Fury now, definitely.
I'm just after getting off the phone with Daniel Kinahan. He's just informed me that the biggest fight in British boxing history has just been agreed. Get up there, my boy! Big shout out, Dan. He got this done, literally over the line. 2-fight deal. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua next year. One problem. I've just got to smash Deontay Wilder's face right in the next fight. And then we go into the Joshua fight next year. So there we are. The Gypsy King versus AJ is on for next year, but there's a hurdle in the road called the Bronze Bomber, a.k.a. the Knockout King, and I will get onto him and knock him spark out, and then we go on to the big fight. So big thank you, Dan, for getting this deal over the line. All the best. God bless you all.
God bless you too, Tyson Fury. Just confirmation of the fact that a deal has been agreed in principle for Tyson Fury and AJ to face off in the all-British unification bout for next year. Of course, it's going to be a rematch as well, so regardless of whatever happens in the first fight. And we're all excited, but there's still hurdle of Tyson Fury, beating Deontay Wilder in their trilogy, while AJ has got to deal with Kubrat Pulev. Anyways, not long after Tyson Fury came out, we have official statement coming from his promoters as well. So I'm talking about Frank Warren and Queensberry Promotions, and you can see it's quite a long one. And but the bottom line is we can confirm negotiations have taken place between Erdogan and Tyson's advisor, Daniel Kinahan. Both Queensberry and Top Rank, as well as Tyson's exclusive promoters and MTK Global, his management team have agreed that this will be the best way forward due to existing relationship between Erdy and Daniel. And as with previous statements, Queensberry, Top Rank, MTK are committed to working with all parties to get the fight over the line. So still not over the line because they haven't signed on the dotted lines. At this point, we can confirm that no contracts have been signed between any of the concerned parties, nor have any specifics been agreed regarding venues, dates, and numerous other key terms. Both sides, this is very, very important, both sides do accept that any prospective fight will demand a 50-50 split, and both sides have accepted there will be a rematch. Obviously, we're keen to make the fight that British fans demand. I'll continue negotiations in order to deliver Tyson his shot at becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. The last one was Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, of course, things are going in the right direction.
Right direction.
All right, we'll wait, keep our fingers crossed and see if Tyson Fury will be the undisputed, because everyone is talking about him. His favorite for this one, the main man.
Yeah.
But then we know who owns all the three belts, right?
Yeah,
Joshua's got
Joshua
three belts. He's got three. He's got how many?
He's got one. Okay, he's got two. Okay, he's got the WBC belt, and he says he has a lineal championship as well. What is that?
What is that? I don't understand. Maybe he does. All right, let's leave boxing this morning and just anticipate about that will happen in 2021. But the venue, the date, and the time is what we don't know yet.
Okay.
Let's leave this one and talk about what's happening in the International Federation, talking about IOC. I mean, Olympics, yes, we know that's in. But then one particular sport that would not be there, even in their meetings, in their planning, or in anything, happens to be weightlifting. Remember, just last week, the McLaren reports that came out was damning, you know, the bribe, the corruption, the covering concerning doping and all. And so IOC President Thomas Bach is actually wading into these whole issues, saying that he's, of course, he's supporting the interim president, you know, whatever the decisions they've reached, is the fact that they will do everything possible to ensure that they clean out the sport. And of course, only those clean athletes will be run. But then all the officials, I mean, those ones that are being indicted would not be part of anything concerning preparations for the Olympics going forward.
Yeah, big trouble. Weightlifting, big trouble. Richard McLaren, of the, the famous, did investigation that got Russia
in trouble.
And has done this as well too. Has uncovered massive doping cover-ups, massive corruptions, of course, allegedly, and International Weightlifting Federation will have to, clean up the act if they want to go to future Olympics, and that's what Thomas Bach is talking about. If nothing is done about all of these allegations and they don't clean their house, they might just lose their sport at subsequent games. And so that's a very clear message to the guys in charge of the sports.
They don't have a choice than just also follow that, clean up your house and see how you can compete at the Olympics. We'll listen to Thomas Bach now.
Deeply concerned and shocked by this report and the scope thereof, the activities being reflected in this report on the different fields with regard to anti-doping and with regard to governance. We also have made it very clear that depending on the results of the findings of the IWF Oversight Commission, that we reserve the right for very far-reaching measures, including but not limited to the question of weightlifting being on the program of Olympic Games. What we can say already now is that we will fully support the new leadership of the Weightlifting Federation and the acting president in her efforts to reform the governance of the federation, and also in her efforts to make the anti-doping system fully independent from the federation. There, the major steps have already been done. What we have made clear already today and from the outset, and again, the acting IWF president knows already about this, that the IOC will not grant an accreditation, an Olympic accreditation to any IWF official implicated following the results of the IWF inquiry, and such officials would also not be accepted by the IOC around the table in the preparation meetings for Tokyo 2020.
It's easy. All they have to do is to put their house in order, and of course, they will be part of the Olympics going forward. And the acting president, Austin Afagwure, will be making sure of that in conjunction with Thomas Bach. Staying with the IOC and what's going on, Thomas Bach is also supporting athletes. The Athletes Commission will be having a meeting, and of course, it has to do with what's going on around the world, talking about racism and all that. So, and the IOC is saying they will support them, whatever discussion they would read, because everyone is calling for change, you know, especially rules restricting protests and all that. So everyone is calling for change, but he says, well, he's going to support them in a very, very dignified way, and that's the way he wants them to carry out. He doesn't have a choice. So he can.
There's a lot of pressure now. You know, it's on the back of the very tragic death of George Floyd, and we've seen sports. You know, like the NFL, like FIFA, changing their stance on, you know, protesting. You can do it on the pitch now. We've seen messages are coming from footballers in the Bundesliga. We've seen players are taking the knee as well. And the IOC is one of those bodies that insists on no protests. Political, whatever, you cannot do that.
The Olympic Charter.
Exactly, because it's in Rule 50 of the Olympic Charter, which currently bans any form of political protest during the Games. That means there won't be any kind of demonstration, political, religious, or racial propaganda is permitted in any Olympic sites, venues, or other areas. And you wonder, I mean, that's the rule. But then things are changing now when the climate is totally different. And I'm not surprised that Thomas Bach and the IOC, they appear to be, you know, just calming down a bit now. Like, okay,
you can exploit different ways and all that we can actually do this. So, well, let's listen. Okay, let's listen to him first of all. Then we'll come back. We'll talk about, because we've had
an instance before, back in the days at the Olympics, where athletes actually took a stand, and you know, we know what happened afterwards.
Yeah, he was, I mean, the Olympic Commission in the US. Actually, you know, he never, I think that was the guy that had this 400 meters record.
It's Tommy Smith and John Carlos. Those two guys with the fist. And all of that on the podium. Anyways, let's listen to Thomas Bach now talking about how they have actually begun talks with athletes on easing and perhaps giving them the chance to, you know, perhaps protest when the Olympics comes around.
We have there fully supported the initiative of the IOC Athletes Commission to have a dialogue with their counterparts, athletes from around the world, to explore different ways on how Olympic athletes can express their support for the principles enshrined in the Olympic Charter in a dignified way. We also agree at the same time with the Athletes Commission that we must always respect the Olympic spirit, and this means that we must make a difference between such support for the principles enshrined in the Olympic Charter and potentially divisive demonstrations. And now we are looking forward there to the input we will get from the IOC Athletes Commission on these topics within this framework. There are these kind of demonstrations, and you see here one example. This is the demonstration in support of the Olympic principles of non-discrimination. This is our DNA. This is one of the raison d'être of the Olympic Games. So everybody who is participating in the Olympic movement and in the Olympic Games in particular is standing for this value.
Yeah.
There you go, there, Thomas Bach, IOC president, speaking on the fact that they have actually started talks, and there's a dialogue ongoing now between athletes and the IOC on what they can do to allow protests in a dignified
way.
manner. I don't know what is undignifying about, for example, okay.
Yeah,
I mentioned the Mexico
Yeah.
Olympics the other time, and it was a Black Power salute, Thomas Smith and John Carlos. And it was very controversial, and we know what happened
after that.
And I'm thinking, a Black Power salute, what is undignifying about that? For example, that's just an example.
Do we have to preempt them? I mean, he mentioned that you really can't preempt what's going to happen. Discussions are going on, so let's wait. After the whole deal, if the Athletes Commission will agree with what they'll come up with, with all of them.
For example, Cecilia, okay, carry on, finish.
I mean, there's going to be directions they will go. There's going to be instructions. There are going to be ways, according to the Rule 50 of the Olympic Charter that you mentioned earlier. I mean, you're not allowed to protest during games and also in any of the Olympic sites and
that's the
venues.
rule.
So maybe that's the one they can say,
to adjust it.
You can carry out your protest, but not at any Olympic venues or site. So no protest during the Olympic Games.
Cecilia, then how do you get there when you can't do it for everyone to see, for the world to see? That's the essence of all this.
That's why I said we can't preempt them. We just wait and see what they will come up with and see how they can do it. So I will not have another Tommy Smith. I know that's not going to happen. I was like, how many years ago now? The guy is now 70-something years old. So,
and now they're apologizing to him.
It's too late. Come on. I remember when he broke that barrier of the 19 seconds, right? I mean, 200 meters and all that. So it was first person to run under 20 seconds. So, I mean, that guy should have been celebrated.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
All right, welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Let's get on. Let's go to Germany now. Talk about Bayern Munich, the side that seems almost unstoppable. They're still in the hunt for the treble. And last night against Frankfurt, they got the job done to advance to the final of the DFB Pokal Cup. That's the German Cup. Essentially, it was a very, very tight game as expected. But Bayern found a way to win, courtesy Ivan Perisic and Robert Lewandowski. Of course, both guys were on target as Bayern reached a third successive German Cup final, and in the process matching their own goals record set in 1972/1973. 129 goals they've scored all season now. That's a remarkable return. And of those goals, 90 of them have come in the Bundesliga after just 30 rounds. Lewandowski contributing a league high 30. Of course, Bayern will go on and face Bayer Leverkusen in the championship decider in Berlin on July the 4th. I'm
just wondering, how do you score 129 goals in 43 games in all the competitions in a season?
Remarkable stuff.
Okay.
Congratulations to Bayern.
Their own record, they're calling it. But the coach, I love what he said after the game. So he said they actually deserve to win because, I mean, they had to do everything possible, win the hard way. And so when you look at the game and just when you have players like Lewandowski, Ivan Perisic, and some other players, you just know that somehow they were going to nick this. But I thought the goals would be more, simply because this same Frankfurt, I mean, the last scoreline was 5-2. Yeah, so I was hoping that just maybe I will have more goals. But then...
Yeah, more goals. This is a cup semi-final. It's always very cagey and
Yeah.
tight and stuff like that. So, Bayern have just done just enough to get to the final. You were going to say it's
12 straight games and now unbeaten in
they've been on
21
fire
outings.
ever since what's his name now, the new coach Flick, Hansi Flick
came on board.
Came on board.
It's
It's taken
changed
over
everything.
from Niko Kovac, who was there before, was struggling a bit, and it's turned around.
Kovac was always going to struggle because where he's coming from, I don't know, because of where he's actually coming from. I mean,
he's a highly rated coach.
Yeah, highly rated. How many top clubs as a coach?
Yeah, but you can say the same about Hansi Flick as well.
Hansi Flick is more like a Bayern person.
Yeah, it's been in the system.
It's been in the system, so that's the difference.
Yeah, but still.
Okay.
Congratulations to Bayern. Take a lot for Bayer Leverkusen to stop them in the final. Let's get on with the show now. We're still going to continue catching up our series with Nigerian athletes, sportsmen, women all over the world in these COVID-19 times. A lot of them have been stuck and have not been able to do what they love to do because of the lockdown and restrictions across the world to curb the virus. Our next guest now, I believe for the first time we're having for the second time we're having a basketballer on the show because we had Evelyn Akata.
Yeah.
Right, so second time we're having a basketball player this time around. It's Rivers Hoopers Center, Austin Afagwure is going to be joining us from Port Harcourt. He's going to be telling us, sharing his experience during this pandemic. Good morning, Austin. It's great to have you on the show. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to meet you. Nice to be on the show. And Moribbe. Hi.
All right. Austin, let's talk about what you have been up to during this lockdown. You haven't played basketball for quite a while. As a matter of fact, the last competition that was held in the country was the President's Cup, and COVID came and has disrupted a lot of things. But for you, what have you been up to during this time?
Well, basically, I've been, basketball is a game that continues regardless of the pandemic. I wake up every morning, work out, and I just try to keep in shape, regardless of the fact that basketball activities isn't happening right now. But that aside, I'm also an interior designer, so if I'm not training in the morning or picking up my personal workout, I'm handling jobs. So, this pandemic has changed a lot of things. A lot of people now want to remodel their homes and stuff. So that's just basically what I've been up to. I still have to be in shape for when activities resume. So.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
Of course. As a sportsman, you have to stay ready because, basketball can return any moment and you don't want to start the process all over again. But for you, because I know you got injured 2018 at the FIBA Africa Champions Cup in Cotonou, and since then it's been a long road to recovery, basically, for you. Would you say this disruption of sports by COVID-19 is in any way a blessing in disguise, or how are you looking at it?
Well, for me, it's a blessing because, as an athlete, when you're preparing for a tournament, you can never be really prepared because, you feel like you're ready for a tournament, and then all of a sudden you remember that there are little details in your game you haven't had. But that for me is a blessing because within the past few months or weeks, I've added a bit of skills to what I've already have. Well, that's basically what it is. For me not playing for a while now, well, it's tough. It's tough when you're recovering from an injury, and then you have to earn respect from your teammates, from the players, from it's your fight for right now. I think I'll be ready. Because I know the season will start very soon. International borders have been lifted, so I think you need to watch out for me on BL.
Okay.
BAL. Let's talk about the BAL.
Exactly. I mean, that's the next thing. That's the next point we were going to make. The BAL was supposed to start talking about the African Basketball League. Was supposed to have started in March, and everyone was looking forward to it. Rivers Hoopers was supposed to represent Nigeria, but then COVID happened, and it's been suspended. It may not even happen this year. Yeah. So, how were you looking forward to such a premium men's basketball league in Africa?
Well, the BAL is a stage. Like every athlete, every basketball player wants to play on that stage. That's like first of his kind. That's like NBA in Africa. Who doesn't want to play? Like you want to get your A's. You want to get your 100%. You want to always come out for practice, busting your ass. It's a competition. For Christ's sake, you want to be on the roster sport. So for me, it's an opportunity to showcase the local talent that we have. Because, man, Nigeria, we have quite a handful of talent that people don't know about.
True.
Like, I go to parks sometimes in Lagos, if I stay in Lagos, and I watch kids, 6, 7-year-olds. Yeah, the way they think, the plays they make on basketball court, I'm like, what? These are what we see in college, in NCAA basketball. And then you see kids that there's no one to discover this talent. So I feel like BL Africa is a platform for all of us to tell the world that we have talent in this Nigeria. Because man, we're making a name, we're making an impact in the world globally on basketball. So for me, BL is a blessing. Thanks to whoever thought about this and bringing football to Africa on a platform like that, man. I don't know.
Of course, Cecilia, do you want to say? Okay, yeah. So, Austin, I mean, of course, the BAL, a lot of basketball players all across Africa were looking forward to seeing that competition tip off, but unfortunately it's been postponed until further notice. Now we're still awaiting confirmation of when it's going to return or come back or start. I want to go back to you now as a basketball player, as a professional basketball player that plays in Nigeria during this whole lockdown period and restrictions and all of that. How have you been coping, surviving? I'm talking of in terms of your earnings now. Are you still getting paid by your club? What's going on regards that?
Oh, actually, I must say, man, I'm privileged to be on this team because I know it's not like that for many other players. Because, the lockdown is hurtful for a lot of other players in Nigeria. Especially out, I get paid. You get paid. At least I'm thankful to the government, to Rivers Basketball Club of Port Harcourt for continuing to make sure that our welfare is concerned. Because I cannot say for sure that it's not challenging on their part. It is. But regardless, they see us as assets instead of liability. That's thankful. Thank you to the governor, to our GM, to backroom staff, every single person. It's not easy.
Austin, thank you very much for taking time out to join us on the show. Wish you the best, and we'll be watching out for you whenever the Basketball Africa League, starts or tips off eventually. Wish you a fantastic rest of 2020 as well. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, Austin.
You're welcome, Tyler.
There you go, Rivers Hoopers Center. 22-year-old Austin Afagwure joining us and sharing his experience on, during the lockdown caused by COVID-19. And of course, the most, the Basketball African League. I imagine a lot of these guys are disappointed because this is the NBA. It's an NBA-organized tournament. There was a lot of hype surrounding the tip-off, and River Supers was going to go and represent the country. Then, COVID happened, and, that's all placed in the back burner now. We don't even know whether the competition will go ahead at this point.
This year, I'm not looking at this year, I'm looking at next year.
It's looking like it's going to be
it's going to be next year, so
not
like really cancelled. Maybe the first edition will start in 2021.
Won't start. It's more like It's more like cancellation.
So nothing in 2022 we're looking forward to. I mean, the anticipation, the hype was big, was huge.
By the end of the day, unveiling already.
And all that, they have a sponsor and everything. Anything that NBA is doing in Africa, we know is always big. And of course, clubs were already, especially River Supers, were thinking of having other players, international players that want to play and all that. They're all welcome. So it was going to be really big. But then COVID happens and everything disrupted. That's what it is. And I love the fact that he says your club, they still get paid, which is really good. I mean, I wish most clubs can actually take a cue from what River State is doing. That's how it should be. I mean, we understand.
You guys are employees of
the government, so River State government. So come on, government has money, so they can actually afford it. I love that.
I don't know about that part. Let's
leave that. I mean, he's actually the brother of the guy who says he wants to, beat Anthony Joshua. Raphael, remember?
Raphael, he's from a sport family. Raphael has got a very interesting.
In the US, the boxer.
Yeah, it's got a very interesting story because Raphael went to America on scholarship to play basketball.
And
somehow he says,
no, boxing.
I want to fight. and now he's unbeaten in about 6 bouts and he's already targeting AJ, in a future World Championship bout. Of course, we'll bring Raphael to you on subsequent shows and editions of Channel Sport this morning. Let's move on now. Let's go to Spain, where La Liga is back tonight with the Sevilla derby between Real Betis and Sevilla. And that promises to be very exciting. Cecilia Bruno talked about how this is one. I mean, we know about the Catalan derby and Barca and Espanyol.
El Clasico and all those ones.
El Clasico and all that. This is another
derby.
Very, fierce encounter. And it will be very interesting to see how these guys, play after such a long break. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most, how I imagine it's going to be a slow start because you said yesterday a lot of players thinking that it's too early, they don't have a choice. They have to play starting from tonight.
That's it. They don't have a choice. They just have to play. And most of them will have to be cautious, as you mentioned, because once injury starts setting in, and of course the club will have to dig deep to see how they can. But the good thing is, I mean, most of the clubs are adopting 5 substitutions and all, which obviously it's going to help. But then I just want to see how it's going to look like. I've seen what Bundesliga is like, but I want to see how this is going to turn out. It's supposed to be a derby, but then I'm sure we're not going to enjoy that feel because it's the fans that actually make it up. So the atmosphere is missing. Fine, they want to have the virtual fans at the stadium, the virtual audio and all, but it's only those that are watching from home that can actually enjoy that. Yeah. But the players, well, everyone's going to be quiet. They hear each other when you knocking the ball and all. And some of them actually learn in a way to not to use swear words and all that. Yeah. Just be, whenever you're in the field of play, no spitting, just be a good boy. That's what it is. Just be a good guy and enjoy the football. We'll just wait, anticipating it. And I believe that, okay, can't stick out my neck. I think Sevilla, maybe because of the club favorites for this one.
Yeah, Sevilla,
I can tell, but...
Yeah, Sevilla have been very good at home.
Decent.
7 matches unbeaten.
Do we still have the home on away ground this period right now?
Yeah, I mean, we still have it. The fans are not there, but they're still playing on a familiar turf. That's where they train and they know that stadium more than any other team. So that should count for something. Like I said, Sevilla were unbeaten in 7 home matches before the break, and we'll be looking to continue that form later tonight. For Real Betis, they were on a bad run of form before the break, but they were able to end that poor form by beating Real Madrid. And, of course, when you beat Real Madrid, they would have loved to play another team afterwards and carry on that momentum, but they couldn't do that because of the COVID-19 break. And they'll be looking to find some consistency starting from tonight. And I cannot wait to watch the Spanish La Liga return. And as Real Madrid fans and Barcelona fans, you still have to wait until Saturday and Sunday to see your teams in action. Those two sides, of course, going for the league title. Just the 2 points separating them. Bruno yesterday, not surprisingly, tipping Real Madrid because I totally agree it's a more balanced side.
And they have a very, very good coach who knows how to win.
Exactly, in Zidane. And while for Barca, there's so much uncertainty surrounded that new coach, Quique Setien, who doesn't appear to be, doesn't appear to have
his team.
Doesn't appear to have that winning mentality. He's always talking about playing the beautiful game and entertaining fans and all of that.
Waxing lyrical about Lionel Messi and all the stuff.
But they have
everything.
Messi. Yeah. They have Messi. When you have Messi, you've got a very good chance of something special happening, and that's why.
And if Messi is having a bad day,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, in trouble.
It's as simple as that.
No, not really looking good because at the end of the day, you're relying on just one player. And that's why when he didn't train at first, people were like, what's going to happen to Barcelona? But then he returns to training and the joy and everything was out there. So I'm thinking if Real Madrid obviously would not rely on a single player like that. They will never do that because they know they have the squad, they have the depth and all that. But at the end of the day, Barcelona is a club that doesn't really have that right now. Fine, you have one of the best players, arguably the best player in the world. Let me use that before Cristiano Ronaldo fans will start talking. I mean, he's right there. But then Luis Suarez and some of the stars, Antoine Griezmann has not really, settled in as we wanted him to, and there's still eyes on Neymar coming to the team and all that. So, I mean, you just look at them, you're asking what is happening to... That's what I mean. We're going to review the papers, right? We're going to see Neymar coming up saying he wants to go to Barcelona. All right, we need to go on a break now. We'll come back. We'll also be going to the USA. The MLS is returning July 8th. All right, time to take a look at what's happening in the MLS. It will be returning July the 8th. That's when it will be starting without fans, of course. That's 3 months after it was disrupted by COVID-19. And, of course, it's going to be at the Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Many of the clubs have returned to training this week, and one of them happens to be the England Revolution. And they're actually having their training in their new facility in Massachusetts. So the players are really looking forward to it. And the MLS Commissioner Don Garber already said in a statement that they're pleased to actually, team up with the Disney World to relaunch the 2020 MLS season and get back to playing soccer again.
Yeah.
And that's why these footballers are also looking forward to having a good time.
Of course, good time, exciting times for the players. And everyone is going to Disney, by the way. NBA is restarting in Disney, MLS is starting in Disney. There's something unique about the comeback of the MLS is that it's going to be played with a unique World Cup-style tournament featuring all 26 teams in Disney. Of course, it's going to be regular season points, CONCACAF Champions League sports, and $1.1 million in prize money will be on the line. And MLS is back tournament, that's what it's called, and the draw will be held later today. Former MLS and U.S. national team star Charlie Davis and Susanna Collins will host the event. And like I said, the format, 26 MLS teams will be drawn into 6 groups, A to F. And the seeded teams, as you can see, Orlando City as a host will be seeded. Of course, there's also Atlanta United in the East. They'll be seeded as well. The 2019 the Cup, MLS Cup playoff semi-finalist. There's also Toronto FC in the East, while in the West, you have LAFC, that's Los Angeles Football Club, and Seattle Sounders. And Real Salt Lake as well in the West will be seated. And we're just waiting for the draw and the groupings later today. And
the way it's going to run is that it's going to run until August 11th. So group matches will count in the MLS regular season, and then the tournament winner will end his spot in the 2021 CONCACAF Champions League. So everything is all settled and mapped out. Check what it did. Everyone will have to be in one city, in the same city to play. So the traveling and all that will be
It's a controlled environment.
Controlled environment. So you're not scared that after training you go back home and maybe infect your kid or something like that. So everyone will be in a controlled environment from July to August 11th. That's when the normal usual the group stages will run before they start. Just
let's listen to two of the players now, or New England Revolution players, Alexander Butner, and speaking ahead of the return of the MLS, for obvious reasons, they're both excited.
Feels great. Finally, we can play football with each other again, and it was a long time. We have to train for ourselves, but finally we are back.
For sure safe, reassuring that everyone's been tested and no one tested positive, so that's really good news. There was a blood test, and then the other one was a bit uncomfortable. You have to stick something pretty far up your nose, but those were the tests, but it's good to have those done and make sure everyone's healthy.
Yes, MLS is back indeed, July the 8th. Keep that date in your diary. If you're a fan of American soccer, you can always tune in to what 26 clubs battle it out for $1.1 million in prize money.
And if you're watching from Nigeria, just know that you have to wake up like middle of the night most times to catch up some of the games. All right. Okay.
Let's go to Serbia before we look at the papers. Let's see what's going on. There was a cup final there as well. No, not cup final actually. It was just semi-final.
Just semi-final.
It was
the Serbia Cup
between Partizan Belgrade and Red Star. And as you can see, fans in the stadium. What is going on in these countries? Cecilia, the fans in the stadium.
Fans are actually allowed to, attend these games. Unrestricted numbers. That's for the first time since, soccer was actually halted in March, middle of March. So 25 capacity stadium. I mean, it was a tense derby in Belgrade. So family atmosphere. Usually, you see this when you're in Belgrade and all that. That's why most times UEFA is always on their neck, fines and all that. But they don't really care. But this game ended just 1-0.
1-0, yeah. 1-0. Good, a very competitive game. Look at what is done to the defender right there. And that was the winning goal. Turned out to be the winning goal for Partizan. And they are
just look at the
to the final. And look at that.
The madness.
No social distancing. Who cares?
Nothing. Who cares?
Everything is good in Serbia. And COVID-19 is not going to stop the fun, I guess. And congratulations to Partizan Belgrade for reaching the final of the Serbian Cup. Time to look at the papers now, Cecilia, before we go. And
I just want to continue to see atmosphere like this. I
know this is what we miss. This is what the game is about.
It's interesting to see. Okay, next
we're going to have to wait a little longer for for us and
this part of the world,
Western Europe and stuff like that.
To see this on
it's
TV.
Take a while.
In the meantime, sit at home and just enjoy the games. Sporting Sun, that's where I'm starting the paper review from this morning. And Sporting Sun right here, you have Igalo Bags Breeze in friendly. Clubs have been allowed to play against each other. And what United did, they have 1-11 and another 11, and they played against each other. But for Arsenal, they played against Brentford, and Arsenal were beaten by Brentford 3-2. It's just a friendly. Okay, that's
Arsenal fans don't get discouraged. It's just a friendly. It's just a tune-up to get fit for the resumption of the league.
Okay, another one, Bordeaux to sell Kalu. Okay. So Galatasaray, Mikel backs Salah to win Ballon d'Or. Meanwhile, the fallout of the story to Egypt, I think the agent actually came out to deny the story that. Okay. Awuni not planning to copy Salah or Mane. He just wants to be his own man. And Minister set up task force for Lagos national team and for Lagos National Stadium. And that's going to be all about trying as much as possible to see how the concession is going to start and everything. So that's a good way to go. So we can't wait for it to be better. Ronaldo ponders Juve exit. Okay, this one, I'm not believing in this.
Speculation, Cecilia, this kind of stories.
Silly seasons around the corner right now.
Started in earnest very early, of course, and we're bound to see those kind of stories. Let's go to Complete Sports now, and very interesting stories. La Liga is back. We've done the preview already for the match between Sevilla and Real Betis. Dortmund slammed £115 million price tag on Jadon Sancho. Anyone that wants to buy this guy is a very hot commodity right now, in quotes. And Chelsea, United, and all these big clubs want a piece of Jadon Sancho. But to do that, you're going to have to cough out
115 million this COVID season.
That's a lot of money. Igalo ready for United shirt war. Bangs double in training game. Of course, Igalo is going to battle it out with Rashford, Mason, Greenwood, and Anthony Martial for starting shirts in the United forward.
Yeah, spoiled for choices now. That's how a club should be. Just know that, okay, everything is okay.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. I wish Igalo all the best. Of course, Lautaro won't force Inter exit. Of course, you cannot force it because they have a release clause that expires in July. Any club wants you, they have to pay
that
99 million quid. So all this money is all this valuation for these players.
And Barcelona know how to throw money away these days, so they can actually throw it and get him. All right?
Barca / Coutinho asking price. Talking about throwing money away, like Cecilia said, paid a lot of money for this guy. Now
they could have fit
they're ready to accept something.
Anything. Just bring it, let him go.
Anything, Cecilia. Something decent. For Philip
Why not bring him
Coutinho.
back? Because I'm looking at the squad, I'm like, where is...
For whatever reason, he hasn't worked out.
It's not deep, but I'm like, okay.
I don't know why they decided to do...
he's a good player. We've seen what he... Okay.
Yeah, he's a good player,
he's
of course.
Decent
but
player,
he hasn't worked out at Barca.
Yeah,
I agree. I think he should get more time. But
yeah, more playing time. That's it.
Mourinho wants a Bere Eze at Tottenham as well, so that story has been on since
please go if you can and come play for Nigeria if you want.
Window. Sporting Life is our last paper for review. Barca Real Madrid's title race might go down to head-to-head records. We'll see about that later. Man City to no Champions League fate in July. Soccer Punch, Raw wants NPFL venues policed, scared of losing Vale Music.
Okay, that's how we're going to end the show this morning. Thank you so much for being part of it and have a good day.
I am Tyson. Enjoy the rest of your day.